The two largest political parties in Burma, the National League for Democracy and the Shan Nationalities League for Democracy, are very heavily regulated and suppressed by the military government. The military government allows very little room for political organizations and has outlawed many political parties and underground student organizations. There have also been reports from both the Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International of human rights violations by the military government. Some violations which are easily noticed are the fact that there is no independent judiciary in Burma, the military government restricts access to the internet, and there is a large amount of forced labor, human trafficking, and child labor. Although they make the argument that they are trying to maintain order in their country, the military government in Burma is not helping with its country's development. An example of this is that Aung San Suu Kyi is still on house arrest even after being urged by both American and British governments to release him. He is being held under the 1975 State Protection Act, which states that the government has the right to detain any person on the grounds of protecting peace and stability in the country. Although releasing Aung San Suu Kyi would most likely cause chaos throughout the country, there still needs to be a change made in the way the government in Burma is run. The Association of Southeast Asian Nations has asked Burma to make progress towards democracy and a national resolution, something which is seemingly being ignored. Their economy is in the same condition as its government, as Burma is one of the poorest countries in the world. Their gross domestic product, GDP, grows only 2.9% annually, which is not something to look forward to. Previously, when under British control, Burma was one of the wealthiest countries in Southeast Asia. It was one of the world's largest exporters of rice and also supplied oil through the Burma Oil Company. Although under British power, the country produced 75% of the world's supply of tea, this led many people to believe that they were on their way to being a world superpower. However, under their own control, they have failed to make any advancements and have destroyed their own economy. Even with resources, Burma lacks adequate infrastructure. Their railroads are old and they have seen little repair since the 1800s. Highways are unpaved unless in major cities. Goods only travel through the Burmese-Thai border, and much of this is illegal drugs, and there are energy shortages all throughout the country. Not only is their economy in trouble for these reasons, but they are also the second largest producer of opium and a major source of narcotics, including amphetamines. Their government does a poor job of keeping their people under control, as well as has a population of 40 to 55 million, but the number is unclear because their most recent census was in 1983. However, this was not even accurate as it was done by the military government. This means that the most recent accurate census dates back to 1931. There are also 600,000 registered migrant workers in Burma, and many more work illegally. The country has over 135 recognized ethnic groups, which does not help with its problems. However, the Bamar, who are the most Buddhist, make up 68% of the population. The next highest is the Shan, also mostly Buddhist, with 10%. Religiously, Buddhism is practiced by 89% of the population, and it is primarily of the Theravada sect. Islam is practiced by 4% of the population. However, the Muslim and Christian populations face a great deal of religious persecution, which stems mostly from the military government and not from their people. The persecution is mostly noticeable in eastern Burma, where there are over 3,000 villages that have been destroyed since 1997. There are also an extremely small percentage of Hindu people living in Burma who receive a great deal of persecution as well. For a country that started off so well economically under the reign of the British, and one with so many natural resources, it is incredible how quickly they were able to fail. With such an enormous Buddhist population, it is clear that the power of the nation is not on the same page as its people. Buddhists believe strongly in education and happiness for its people, something that the country of Burma clearly does not care about and struggles to provide. The country itself needs a lot of work in order to help its people survive and thrive, and the number one step in this process is overtaking the military government, which has been in rule for the majority of the nation's existence.